Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the HGUC, or High Grade Universal Sentry, Zgok Type E, or the E actually stands for the Zgok Experiment type. So this is basically, I'm pretty sure most people saw this for the first time in the anime, the War in the Pocket series. It's a basically amphibious unit, and overall, based on the wiki and such, this is basically overall a improved version of the Zgok. But although I'm not sure why this was never, despite that, never mass produced. Of course, it usually ends up on being it's not as cheap enough to be mass produced. I'm talking about mobile suit wise, not the actual kit wise. So once again, most of the time I really did enjoy the amphibious units, such as the HGUC Zgok is still the S tier when it comes to like amphibious units. And then yeah, I do hear a lot of good things about the HGUC, and then I have tried the RG Zgok as well. And yeah, overall I just like the fact that these are very unique designs when it comes to amphibious mobile suits from Zeon. Alright, as usual, let's go over the components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the mobile suit unit itself, and then you also get the jetpack or the backpack support unit, which is the orange backpack thing that's on the back, as usual. And then component-wise now, since this is an amphibious unit and this does not actually have physical finger type hands, but rather claws, and then all the weapons are built inside the arms, which is why we don't have any equipment. Separate equipment that can hold, but we do have some leftover parts such as these polycaps, and that would be literally be the only leftover parts. Here is the sticker sheet. As you can see, I did not use anything, even including the symbols, because I just wanted to see. Yeah, I just felt like these old kits. This is technically a very old kit at this point, but still, when it comes to these type of kits, when you put stickers on, it gets a little bit more messy. So I wanted to get, not make it look less messy. Now, I would like to mention the box that I got has the blue logo, meaning that this thing has been reissued once, at least once, after the logo changed. So, yeah, let's see what we got. Now, despite as much as I do enjoy amphibious mobile suits, before I bought this, I was already aware about the big issues with this kit. This kit does have some weird flaws and issues that, some of you might know, some of you might not be aware. So, anyway, let's get on to that part. So, as usual, let's go over the articulation first. So, being in amphibious units, the thing with the Zeon amphibious units is that most of them have a weird shape. So, unlike your standardized humanoid style Zaku, these things don't actually have a separate head, but rather the head and body are merged into one. So, the main body is the also head at the same time. Alright, so first of all, let's just get things out of the way. So these vents, these black parts are actually color separated pieces, so that's very well done. Even the eye here, mono eye, and the black here are all color separated pieces. The eye is actually a clear, now in my camera it may look red, but it's more of a little bit dark, more of a pinkish color going on here. That's also a color separated piece. However, despite how the box art on the front may look like, the mono eye is stuck in there. The mono eye cannot be moved at all. Now, this cockpit section here is technically also a color separated piece, but in orange, because it was on the same plate as this guy. So, if you don't use the sticker, you will get an orange piece. What I did is I got a metallic red Gundam marker and colored it, and I think it turned out pretty well. Although I do see a small smidge there, but oh well. So that's that. So, just want to point that out. But the body actually, despite having a ball joint, has pretty good, decent articulation here. So, technically the top section of the body moves, so you can go forward and backward like that. So, that's a pretty good way done. So, looking down is, moderately okay, or going up, okay, pretty well done. And then going to side is there. And now, going 360 is impossible because because of the overall shape here, it's not really meant to rotate. Alright, before we go to the arms, let's look at the backpack now. In the backpack, this is technically used as a support unit, so basically if it's traveling through underwater, it would use this to save up its energy and fuel. So you could technically take this off as well. So also for those who have played any Gundam games, might notice that this thing is actually, especially in the recent Gundam Battle Operation 2, if you use this unit, it would first show up with this, but later it would detach this as it deploys. So yeah, you could technically pull that, and here we go. On the backpack here, so these black pieces are also color separated pieces. Even these vents here, or these thrusters, are also color separated pieces. Although the shape may not look like it matches, but I guess that is the limitations of that time. Alright, so Now let's look at the shoulder articulation as well. So here we have the shoulders. Now it is on a ball joint, but the shoulder arm here is actually wrapped around the ball joint. So you have to move it together with the arm. And one of the biggest flaws of this kit is basically on the arms. As you can see, I put a small tissue piece because the ball joint is just so loose to the point that the arm was very wobbly, despite being a ball joint connection. So either way, if you move the arm together with the shoulder, you can go 360, and you can see it's still trying to pop off. So I'm actually really fighting this. You know what? Let me just take off this part and show you guys how it is. So I took off the tissue, and now it's feeling slightly more loose. So that's the point. And you can see these white pieces here. These are supposed to be like fins or kind of. Oh boy, so that's another issue here. So the arm pops up out a little bit too easy. You can see it just, despite the ball joint still there, the arm entirely just fell off on its own for some reason. So you have these parts here. These things don't really they don't attach to here. They just go through the hole and they're just dangling there. So which is why it is a big issue here. So you have this part right over here. So because of the ball joint thing, you do have a slight rotation movement here, but that's only because the ball joint is allowing it. And then the lower arm is also a ball joint, so there is only like, you can bend less than 90 degrees for the bend here. And since the arm popped out, let me just show you guys the way how it is. So here's the peg. So you put these three like fins here on here, and then you attach it to that point there. So despite that, you do, now looking at like this, you do get a decent bend. So let me just show you guys that. So yeah, right off the bat, I would like to mention this kit is not meant for beginners. Oh boy. So you can see I'm really sorry for the messy thing going on here, but this, you can only go 90 degrees because this is allowing it, but technically because it was all the fins here, this is not really possible. So let me just give you guys an example. Yeah, you can see everything's like blocking the way here, and you can see that part is like popping out, so it's not really ideal. So I can kind of force it to go so, and I'm really being careful. So if you find the right angle, of course, despite that, you can still go 90 degrees barely. So, but once again, there is a risk of the arm popping off on its own. Other than that, let's see, for sticker wise, one of the red stickers you're supposed to apply onto these areas right over here. So there's two on the arm, so there's 2 arms, so that's 4 of them as well. And then on the shoulders here, you have these red sections, which I did color. I need to color them a little bit more. So there's 4 on the front and then 2 on the back, so that's 6. So that does cover up all these stickers, these 4, 6, and then these lineups. Here is the cockpit, and here are some symbols where, according to the manual, you have to put the symbol here, and then for the Cyclops team, you were supposed to put it on the shoulder. So that's that. Now, just to make sure the arm doesn't fall off again, so let's look at these claws here. So the claws, each of these claws are ball jointed pieces. So some of them may feel pretty, stable. Some of them may feel a little bit, loose, but still works. And yeah, I do like the fact that you can fully open the claws here. And yeah, here is the beam gun. So one of the big improvements of the Zgok Type E or the Experiment Type is that the Zgok could only fire once at a time. For the Zgok Experiment Type, he can fire rapidly. So that's a very big improvement. Now, if only the issue was on the arms, now there is the same situation on the legs. You can see these here, but of course the leg situation is a little bit better because they're more stable, a little bit more. I say a little bit more. And let me just get this arm out of the way just to give you guys a better idea. So looking at the waist section here, there is a connection here, so you can take this part off, and there is a peg, although not your typical peg here, but here we have a poly cap. So oddly enough, despite being a Zgok type mobile suit, it does have like somewhat of a side skirt going on here. And because of that, you can go a little bit forward like that, forward and backward, and then going to side to side. Now looking at the legs here, despite being a ball joint, this is as far as you can go for the side section. And then it doesn't have a side swivel, but because of the ball joint, you do have a slight movement going on here. And then going forward wise, because of the side skirt, front skirt edge piece going on here, there is some limitations going forward and backward as well. So be aware of that. And then bend wise, let's see how far it can go. So we do have like about a 90-degree bend, which is pretty much acceptable for this type of mobile suit, and especially concerning its age. And then ball joint wise, yeah, we do have a ball jointed feet here, very huge feet, so you should have zero problems when it comes to balance here. So we do have like a toe bend that can go downwards and then upwards a little bit, but it's mostly, yeah, just slightly being, you're opening the gap here, so that's no big deal. And then pivot wise, because it is on a ball joint, you should have no problems. And then we have this flap here. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the kit. I'll be right back with some more clean, demonstration, and we'll end it off there. Okay, I'm back. So here is a, a little bit more cleaned up version here. So I reattached all the arms. So once again, even whatever I do, it's still a bit finicky on the ball joints, and all the joints here on the lower arm is still trying to pop out. So once again, there are there are some huge issues going on here. If there's anything I forgot to mention is that since the lower arm here, the lower arm with the claws, are connected to ball joints, they can technically rotate side to side, but not 360. I would say maybe about 90 degrees would be it. And there you go, the ball joint has popped out again. So that is pretty much it for the review. So once again, I would never recommend this to a beginner. If you're trying to get this as your first kit, I would highly recommend you don't stop. So yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're interested in this kit and if you want to fix the issues, you really need to plan ahead. Make sure that you have to find a way to make sure that the arms don't pop out. You have to reinforce the ball joints, and especially you need to figure out what to do with these parts, because these are the main issues that the arms are falling off a little bit too easily. So yeah. And that's pretty much it for the review. So this was the review of the HGUC Zgok Type E, or the Zgok Experiment. Once again, not really recommended for first timers, but if you are a collector and if you do like amphibious molds, you can definitely go for it, but make sure to be prepared for certain issues and try to fix them. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.